Before a Mongolian child learns to run, they learn to ride. Out here, the horizon is not a boundary, but an open invitation. Close your eyes and listen to the wind. It does not howl, it sings. A low, continuous hum sweeping across an ocean of green that stretches so far it seems to curve with the earth. The air is exceptionally crisp, carrying the sharp, earthy scent of crushed wild sage and the comforting, smoky aroma of a morning fire. You are standing outside a white canvas dome that glows softly like a solitary pearl against the vastness of the dawn. Inside, the day has already begun. There is the steady, rhythmic churning of a wooden plunger in a leather vat, crafting fermented mare's milk. The mother of the family breaks off a piece of dark brick tea and drops it into a cast-iron pot, the rich, salty smell of sutetsai rising into the wooden rafters. Outside, a man softly flicks his tongue, guiding a herd of horses whose hooves drum a gentle, chaotic rhythm against the soil. This is not a scene recreated from the past. This is happening this very morning. We are stepping into the living, breathing heart of the Mongolian steppe to experience a day defined not by the ticking of a clock, but by the movements of the sun, the animals, and the earth. Welcome to Culture Journey. Today, we are traveling to a place where the sky feels larger than anywhere else on our planet. The sweeping, boundless steppes of Mongolia. This vast, landlocked nation, resting quietly between the dense forests of Siberia and the arid deserts of China, is home to one of the last great nomadic cultures on Earth. But to call these families simply nomads is to misunderstand the deep, intentional relationship they maintain with the land. For the herders of the steppe, moving is not a restless wandering. It is a profound act of stewardship and survival. Their traditions, from the ingenious architecture of their homes to the specific, beautiful way they welcome a stranger, are born from the absolute necessity of community in a landscape that is as unforgiving as it is beautiful. To understand the Mongolian steppe is to understand a people who have mastered the art of living lightly upon the earth, all while holding fiercely to their cultural identity. Let's leave the noise of the modern concrete world behind and spend a day walking in the footsteps of a culture that measures wealth not by what is accumulated, but by what is sustained. As the sun finally breaches the horizon, the first thing you notice is the sheer absence of fences. There are no property lines drawn in the dirt, no walls dividing one family's life from another. Instead, the landscape is punctuated only by the jur, the traditional Mongolian dwelling. Many outsiders call it a yurt, but here it is a jur, a word that translates simply and powerfully to home. Step through the brightly painted wooden door. You will notice it always faces south, purposefully oriented to catch the warmth of the morning sun and to turn its back on the biting northern winds. Inside, the space is a masterpiece of nomadic engineering, perfected over millennia. The lattice walls expand and collapse like a wooden accordion, wrapped in layers of thick sheep's wool felt to insulate against the cold. The roof poles meet at the tuno, the central wooden crown, which acts simultaneously as a window to the sky, a clock tracking the sun's shadow, and a chimney for the central stove. Did you know this design has remained largely unchanged since the days of Genghis Khan? It is perfectly aerodynamic, allowing the fierce, relentless steppe winds to glide right over it without tearing it from the earth. But the jur is more than just a shelter. It is a sacred, living map of the universe. The space is divided by invisible, culturally revered lines. The west side is traditionally for men and their riding gear, the east for women and cooking implements. The north, the most honorable space furthest from the door, holds a small altar. Here, you might see framed family photographs sitting peacefully alongside Buddhist deities or small shamanic tokens. Everything has its place, and order brings harmony to a life lived in the wild. As the morning warms, the real work of the steppe begins. The air fills with a symphony of animal sounds. The survival of a nomadic family rests entirely on the 5 snouts: horses, cattle or yaks, camels, sheep, and goats. These animals are not merely livestock, they are co-inhabitants of the steppe, providing milk, meat, wool, and transport. You see the family members working together, dressed in their deel, a traditional long tunic tied at the waist with a bright silken sash. The high collar protects against the wind, while the sash provides back support for long hours in the saddle. The deal is elegant, but above all, it is practical. What would surprise you is the profound respect embedded in the way the herders move with their animals. They do not force the land to provide. They submit to its rhythms. When the grass in one valley is grazed low, the family does not buy imported feed. Instead, they pack up their entire lives, collapsing the gyr, loading it onto carts or trucks in an intricate practiced routine that takes little more than an hour, and they move to the next pasture. This seasonal migration, known as the noodle, is a rhythmic dance with nature. It ensures the earth has time to heal, rest, and replenish itself. It is a quiet, profound lesson in sustainability that the modern world is only just beginning to remember. Yet you cannot truly understand the Mongolian soul without understanding the horse. Watch a herder ride. They do not sit on the horse, they move with it, as if the human and the animal share a single nervous system. Children here are placed on horseback almost as soon as they can walk, sometimes gently tied to the saddle to learn the animal's rhythm before they can walk confidently on the ground. By the time they are 5 or 6, you will often see them racing bareback across the plains, their laughter caught in the wind. Centuries ago, it was this unparalleled horsemanship that allowed the Mongols to establish the largest contiguous land empire in human history. They moved with a speed that baffled their enemies, carrying everything they needed to survive on the backs of their sturdy, semi-wild ponies. But today, the horse represents something far deeper than historical conquest. It represents freedom. Even as solar panels and satellite dishes have found their way to the gyr camps, showing how effortlessly and practically this culture adapts to the modern world without losing its core, the horse remains the ultimate symbol of Mongolian identity. To be without a horse on the steppe is to be without wings. Imagine it is now mid-afternoon. The sun is high and the wind has settled into a gentle rolling breeze. You are a traveler wandering across the grass. If you approach a gyr, you do not knock. There is no door frame to rap your knuckles against. Instead, you stand at a distance and call out, "Hold the dog." Within moments, the flap opens, and you are ushered inside with a warm gesture. Out here, hospitality is not a polite social choice. It is a sacred duty. The steppe is vast, beautiful, but highly unpredictable. Weather can turn lethal in an instant. Because of this, a traveler is always welcomed, no questions asked. You would immediately be guided to sit and handed a warm, silver-lined bowl of sutetsai, the salty milk tea that tastes strange to outsiders at first, but soon becomes deeply comforting. You might be offered arul, pieces of sun-dried milk curds that are delightfully tart, hearty, and packed with the vitamins needed to survive the harsh winters. Then comes the passing of the snuff bottle, a beautiful, smooth vessel carved from agate, jade, or lapis lazuli. The cap is offered slightly open, a sign of peaceful intentions. You accept it with your right hand, gently supporting your elbow with your left. This is more than a greeting. It is an unspoken pact of trust. With both hands engaged in this careful greeting, neither is free to draw a weapon. In this quiet moment, there is no rush. Conversation flows slowly. You ask about the health of the herds, the quality of the pasture, the peacefulness of the weather. Out here, human connection is the only true safety net. You realize quickly that these people do not survive despite each other. They survive because of each other. As evening approaches, the colors of the steppe transform entirely. The bright, sharp green of the grass fades into a deep, textured gold, and the shadows of the hills grow long and soft. The herds are brought back to the camp, their long day of grazing complete. The animals settle, and the air grows incredibly still, the kind of pure, unpolluted quiet that makes your own heartbeat seem loud. Inside the gyr, the central stove is lit once again, warding off the chill that descends the moment the sun drops. The smell of mutton and homemade hand-cut noodles fills the warm space. And perhaps after the bowls are cleared, someone reaches for a morinkur, the traditional horsehead fiddle. As the wooden bow draws across the strings made of horsehair, the sound that emerges is unlike any other instrument on earth. It is earthy and resonant. It perfectly mimics the neighing of a wild horse, the whistling of the wind through the valley, the sweeping rhythm of the plains. And then, the singing begins. Mongolian long song, Urtin Du, is not measured by the length of the song itself, but by the drawn-out, complex, and beautiful extension of the syllables. The singer's voice rises and falls exactly like the undulating landscape outside, a haunting, deeply emotional tribute to the vastness of the world they inhabit. It sounds like a love letter written to the horizon. Before you sleep, you step outside the Ger for one last moment. With no city lights for hundreds of miles in any direction, the night sky is not a flat canvas. It is a deep, three-dimensional ocean of stars, so dense and bright they seem to cast their own shadows on the grass. For millennia, the ancestors of these people revered Munkuk Tengri, the eternal blue sky. This was not a distant, human-like deity, but the living, breathing universe around them. Looking up into that impossible expanse, you finally understand why. You feel incredibly small, yet entirely held by the rhythm of the natural world. As the fire inside the Ger burns down to glowing, red embers, and the endless steppe goes completely quiet, we are left to reflect on what this ancient way of life truly means for us today. The nomadic culture of Mongolia is a powerful, living reminder that our roots do not always have to be buried in static soil. Belonging is not necessarily about staying in one fixed place. Sometimes true belonging means moving in perfect harmony with the world around you. In an age where so much of our global society values the accumulation of things and the permanence of concrete, the herders of the steppe offer a different, quieter wisdom. They teach us that true resilience lies in adaptability. They show us that community, shared responsibility, and open-hearted hospitality are not quaint luxuries, but the very foundation of human survival. Here, identity is forged not by physical walls, but by the shared memory of the grass, the wind, and the eternal sky. They remind us that we carry our true home within us, and as long as we have each other, we are never truly lost. If this shared journey brought you a sense of peace today, I invite you to subscribe and leave a comment below. Tell me, which part of the nomadic life resonated most deeply with you? We have so much more of this incredible world to explore together. Until next time, remember to travel deeply.